think we're clock on the wall is just a little bit late, but we're ready to start. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Senator Gardner. Senator Maiden. Here. Senator Thomas. Representative Petrie. Representative Stalker.
Present.
Representative Thomas.
Present.
Co-Chair Funky Fromeyer.
Present.
Chair McPherson.
Present. So it looks like we do have a quorum and we're constitutionally bound to do business. Do I hear a motion to approve the July minutes?
I'll make a motion.
So a motion made by Senator Fromeyer and seconded by Senator Maiden. Anybody oppose or have anybody object? If there's no objections, we'll consider the minutes approved as submitted. All right. Catherine, will you read the...
There are 5 information items to report. Pursuant to KRS 45760 sub 5, the University of Kentucky reported a $3.1 million restricted fund medical equipment purchase for Chandler Hospital. Pursuant to KRS 45812 sub 1, through their fiscal agents, 5 school districts, none of which needed additional tax levies to pay debt service, reported upcoming debt issues to finance new projects. The school districts were Barberville Independent in Knox County, Bardstown Independent in Nelson County, Bell County, Danville Independent in Boyle County, and Johnson County. Pursuant to KRS 45A180 sub 2, Eastern Kentucky University reported its intent to use the construction management risk project delivery method for its construct model laboratory school with a $119.2 million construction budget. Pursuant to KRS 4811 sub 6, the Division of Real Properties transmitted an advertisement for lease space. Pursuant to House Bill 6, the Kentucky Communications Network Authority provided quarterly reports for 2 of its capital projects, and Eastern Kentucky University reported a couple of asset preservation project revisions.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have before us now Miss Elizabeth Baker in person, and she will be discussing item number 4, a new lease and lease modification requiring action. And I will entertain a motion to roll. Okay, made, and do I hear a second? Have a motion made and second to roll. See, do I have to require? Okay. All right, go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, we have 2 leases. One is a new lease and the other one is an amendment. The new lease is for UK St. Clair Urgent Care Clinic in Moorhead. This space will house the urgent care clinic, a sleep center, some pediatric therapy services, and storage.
Sorry, will you move your microphone just a little closer to you? I'm talking to you and I don't have mine
That's
on.
okay.
So thank you.
Is that better?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, okay. This is for 13,500 square feet with an annual cost of $165,000. The second lease is an amendment. All the terms and conditions remain the same. All we're doing is increasing the amount of square footage by 2,880 square feet. This is at the Turfland Clinic. It is for the UK Family and Community Medicine Clinic. This will bring our total square footage for that clinic to 18,420 square feet at an annual cost of $584,098.20.
Does any members have any questions? Okay, Senator Fromeyer.
Thank you. In reviewing these leases, I realize that space is needed with the patient population. Do we have any sense for, is that exactly what's needed, or is there 1,000 or 2,000 square feet in some of our public institutions that we would, in your process of reviewing that, would have available for other state operations? For example, like our SNAP benefits, that a person may go to a UK medical center to pick up SNAP benefits, or utilizing this space in addition.
Are you talking, is there one lease in particular you're talking about, or both of them in general?
Both of these in general seem to be a nice example of kind of a state-owned or state-operated facility.
We don't own either, UK doesn't own either facility. Both are owned by private companies or landlords, so to speak. The lease in Moorhead is a lease that pre-existed member substitution with UK with St. Clair. This is where those clinics have been for quite some time. It's a very good location for their patient population and so forth. The storage space in that is free to us. We're only paying for the space where we have the clinics in those. The second lease for our community family and medicine clinic, that is at our Turfling clinic, and we do not own that space either. And we're pretty tight in that facility, to be honest, in the Turfling clinic.
Okay. Thank you
You're welcome.
for knowing the answer to that as well. Thank you.
Does any other member have any question? If not, I'd entertain a motion for approval. I move. Motion made by Senator Thomas. Do I hear a second? Hear a second by Mr. Walker Thomas. All right. Madam, will you call the roll?
Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator Maiden. Aye. Senator Thomas. Aye. Representative Petrie. Representative Stalker.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Yes.
Co-Chair Funky Fromeyer.
Yes.
Chair McPherson.
Yes. So it's approved. Thank you for your time. Thank you. All right. Now we have before us Janice Thomas. And she's here in person, and it's item number 5. 3 new transactions requiring no action. No, I'm sorry, I skipped a line. 3 new projects and an appropriation increase requiring action, and 4 requiring no action. So we'll take up the action items first, and then we'll go to the others. So do I hear a motion to roll the action items?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made. Do I hear a second? Motion made and second, so we'll consider those rolled and go ahead with your testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Music to my ears, rolling them together. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Janice Thomas, Deputy State Budget Director. I'm actually reporting on 8 projects today, and I'll do the first 4 as you've rolled them together. Then I'll take questions if you have any at the end.
Yes, ma'am.
So the first 3 are new projects funded with 50% or more federal funds under the statutory authority of KRS 45760, paren 7. Starting with the General Government Department of Military Affairs Wendell H. Ford Training Center Underground Electric Project in the amount of $1,923,000, funded 100% federal funds from resiliency funds made available through the National Guard Military Affairs Cooperative Agreement. This project will transition overhead electrical power lines underground in order to enhance energy resiliency and military readiness in times of emergency and training. Next is the Department of Military Affairs Williamsburg Readiness Center Interior Repair Project in the amount of $4 million, 50% of which is federal sustainment funds made available through the National Guard Military Affairs Cooperative Agreement, and 50% is state funded from the 24-26 Army Installation Facility Maintenance Pool. This project includes upgrades to the men and women's latrines, the HVAC, sewer line replacements, flooring, lactation room, Ethernet data ports in the walls and running back to the Military Affairs and National Guard network server room, lighting, ceiling grid, and paint in this facility. The third project is the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet, Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources, Waste Services, Realty Property Acquisition Project in the amount of $1,550,000 for property acquisition adjoining the Veterans Memorial Wildlife Management Area in Scott County. The project is 100% federally funded from the Wildlife Restoration Basic Hunter Education Grant. Those are the 3 projects that are funded 50% or more through federal funds. Next on the agenda, what you've rolled into the projects here, is an appropriation increase in the amount of $8,113,000 from restricted funds for the Finance and Administration Cabinet, Department of Revenue, Integrated Tax System. It's a capital project, also known as DORIS. This action represents an 8.7% increase to the $92.5 million authorized in the 2018-20 enacted budget and brings the total appropriation to $100,613,000. This increase is necessary to fund change orders that are directly related to the legislation passed by the General Assembly and to have a unified, integrated tax system. The authority is pursuant to KRS 45.760(6). Those are the four that you have rolled together.
Okay, do I hear any questions? Hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion. Motion made, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Madam Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Senator Girdler. Senator Maiden. Senator Thomas. Representative Petrie. Representative Stalker.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Funky Fromeyer.
Aye.
Chair McPherson.
Yes. All right, so those are approved, and then you may go ahead with the ones that require no action.
Okay. Next is an emergency repair, maintenance, or replacement project with authority pursuant to 45.760, paren 1G, and 45.780 for the Finance and Administration Cabinet, Finance Facilities and Support Services, Frankfurt State Property Flood Damage Project in the amount of $3 million. This project will restore two facilities, the Bush Building and the Vest Lindsay House, that were damaged by the April 2025 flood event in downtown Frankfurt. This project will be reimbursed with insurance proceeds. All right, and the last three projects are pool projects in excess of $1 million. First is the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Department of Corrections, KCIW Main Building Window Replacement Phase 2 project in the amount of $1,624,200. It's funded from two sources, from the 24-26 maintenance pool in the amount of $1,549,200 and the 22-24 maintenance pool in the amount of $75,000. The main building dormitory at Kentucky Correctional Institute for Women, originally constructed in 1938, underwent phase 1 of its window replacement project in January 2023. Funding is now available in the current biennium to complete phase 2, which includes the replacement remaining 68 detention windows. Did I say criminal justice training? I meant Department of Corrections. I may have gotten lost here a little bit. I meant to say Department of Corrections project. Second is the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Department of Criminal Justice Training, Thompson Hall, Schwindeman Interior Refurbishment Project in the amount of $3,722,400 is funded with restricted fund maintenance pools. The project includes removal and replacement of 23-year-old wall and flooring coverings, furniture, coordinating the scope and engineers to correct issues with the floor slab along the first floor of Thompson Hall east wall. Little more information, the breakdown of that $3.7 million, $319,890 is coming from the 22-24 maintenance pool, which deplete the balance of that pool. And then the remaining balance comes from the 24-26 maintenance pool. And the last project is the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources Philo Muddy Gut Branch Project in the amount of $6.5 million from the Department of Wildlife fees in lieu of stream mitigation pool, and it's located in Johnson County. This project will restore approximately 14,000 linear feet and permanently protect over 17,000 linear feet of Muddy Gut Branch mainstream and its tributaries in the Big Sandy River service area. And that concludes all the projects. And if there was any confusion on my part, I apologize.
So do we have questions?
On the, excuse me, on the first one you talked about there, the advancement on the, waiting on the insurance money, do you have any idea how much of that insurance money we'll be getting back?
I have that it's all coming from insurance proceeds. Is there anyone here that can speak to that? Scott, can you speak? Is that correct? It's all insurance. That $3 million is all insurance proceeds.
So we'll get that back. We're just,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Okay. Have any other questions? Looks like we're going to let you off pretty easy this time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you.
I like to commend your staff, committee staff. They do a great job as well, and we have a good relationship. So thank you very
Totally
much.
agree. We have a good staff.
Thank you.
Super staff. Thank you, thank you. All right, Miss Natalie Bronner is here remotely, and looks like it'd be item number 6. We have 2 new leases and a lease modification requiring action. So while Natalie's getting up remotely, do I hear a motion to roll these actions? All right, got a motion. Do I hear a second? Roll on. All right, so he says roll on, so I guess we're now becoming Alabama fans. Oh, I'm sorry. Easy, calm down, yeah. All right. Ms. Bronner, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So just to make it clear, we're not Alabama fans, we're UK fans.
Good afternoon. My name is Natalie Bronner, and I'm the director of the Division of Real Properties. I have 2 new leases today and a lease modification. The first new lease is PR 5785 in Graves County for the Cabinet for Health and Family Services Department for Community-Based Services. This lease resulted from the competitive bid process outlined in KRS 56803. With 2 proposals received, the agency has recommended acceptance of the proposal submitted by Trifecta Capital LLC. The proposed lease is for 9,799 square feet of office space at a rental rate of $15.90 per square foot, excluding utilities and janitorial, which is $155,804.12 annually through June 30th of 2031. The next lease is PR 5884 in Muhlenberg County. This lease resulted from the competitive bid process outlined in KRS 56803 as well. The agency has recommended acceptance of the only proposal received, which was submitted by the existing lessor, Robert Fowler. The proposed lease is for 16,104 square feet of office space and 95 reserved paved parking spaces at a rental rate of $16.50 per square foot, excluding utilities and janitorial, which is $265,716 annually through June 30th, 2033. The last item is a lease modification for PR 3974 for the Transportation Cabinet Department of Highways in Jefferson County. For KRS 56813, this lease modification decreases the agency's current space for underground salt storage by 20,078 square feet, which brings the total from 175,754 square feet to 155,676 square feet. Given the unique nature of the lease premises and pursuant to KRS 5645.095, a temporary rate increase was accepted until the competitive bid process can occur under 56803, which is the rate is $3.25 per square foot, or $505,947 annually through June 30th, 2027. And that concludes my presentation, unless you all have questions.
Do I hear any questions? So go ahead, Representative.
Thank you, Natalie. I did notice that you're right. It looks like we're trying to save space and we're trying to knock it down 20,000 square feet, but the cost is actually going up. But I think your end of your statement was saying that that's just temporarily until we can actually rebid it. So it will not be locked in at that 3.25.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you for making that clear.
Sure.
Does any other? So if you don't mind, I have a question. And on the Muhlenberg County, you said you only had 1 bidder. Was that, and you can you tell me what the current rate they're paying and versus the current bid rate?
Sure. So actually on Muhlenberg County, let me get that for you. The lessor actually bid $19.25 per square foot. Since there was only 1 response to that solicitation, we were able to negotiate to $16.50, which was in line with the Cabinet for Health and Family Resources with their budget as well. And they're currently paying $13 a square foot.
When was that last bid?
I believe that was 8 years ago.
Okay, so difference of about $3 in 8 years.
Yes, and that was a new construction at the time.
Okay. Going back to the salt storage, as Representative Thomas said, we're reducing the square footage but increasing the amount per. Is this a lease? This is not an own. So how many? And I know this is a question maybe off the wall that you may not can answer exactly, but do we own or lease most of our salt storage around the state?
We own most of our salt storage around the state, and I do have representatives from transportation on as well. If there's any further questions.
So I guess my question is, for us to be able to be leasing it, the amount of $500,000 or better dollars, how long would it take us to build and pay for our own versus leasing this one? Is this one so uniquely positioned that we couldn't? I understand that we've got to have it in place at the time and the place when the storms come, and it's just not as easy said and done, but is there an explanation of why we do not own that?
So this particular lease is part of the mega caverns, and so the unique nature of that with the temperature control, humidity, so there are a number of factors that play into this particular site. And as I understand it, again, I've got some folks on that can further explain. It would take quite a lot of space in Jefferson County to be able to replicate that amount of storage, which would likely be cost prohibitive.
Does anybody want to speak to that that's on?
Yes, sir, Chairman. This is John Moore, Deputy State Highway Engineer for Transportation Cabinet.
Correct.
And the mega cavern, the cave in Louisville, operates as our strategic salt reserve for the state. It serves all 120 counties. We're working on developing regional salt facilities. We've got 4 of those constructed to date in Marshall County, Hopkins County, Madison, and Clay counties, and we're with the goal of each one of those facilities holds 10,000 tons. We've got about 120 tons of salt in the cave, so we're looking to distribute that and to reduce our dependence on the cave. But we have had winters in the past where we have completely cleared the cave out of salt, and so it is a tremendous need to have that reserve in case a heavy winter hits. And back in 2014, that insulated us from tremendous price increases in the cost of salt that was hitting the market when we had to restock our facilities throughout the state.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. If the Farmer's Almanac's right, we could be in for it again. You never know.
I hope it's wrong. With
I
all due respect.
understand, but I'm a snow lover. I kind of like it myself. But all right, does anybody else have any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made. Do I hear a second? Okay. Motion made and second. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Senator Girdler. Senator Maiden. Senator Thomas. Representative Petrie. Representative Stalker.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Funky Fromeyer.
Yes.
Chair McPherson.
Yes. So thank you, and we did approve
Thank you,
that,
Chairman.
and I think that's all we have.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for answering the questions. Appreciate it. All right. We now have Sandy Williams here. She's remote, and this will be item number 7, and it'll be water loans and sewer and water grants requiring action, and a line item sewer grant reallocation requiring no action. So we'll take up the action items. To start with, do I hear a motion to roll the action items? Have a motion. Do I hear a second? Have a motion and a second. So we'll consider those rolled, and we won't even go into who we're supporting this year for football. No, okay, all right, no problems here. All right, so go ahead. The floor is yours. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair McPherson and members of the committee. I'm Sandy Williams, Executive Director with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. Pursuant to KRS 224A 100, the authority will present 6 loans and 9 grants for the committee's review. First, from our Fund B Infrastructure Revolving Fund, the Cumberland County Water District's Fund B loan in the amount of $1,110,000 is for their Joe Scott Ridge Booster Pump Station Replacement Project. The project will replace a non-operational pump station and enable the district to meet the water demands of existing and future customers in the southern portion of its distribution system. This will be a 20-year loan with a 1% interest rate and was approved at the August 7th KIA board meeting. From our Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, first up, City of Lebanon increase. The loan increase in the amount of $385,006 is for the water treatment plant and water system improvements project. The original loan was approved by the KIA board on March 2nd, 2023, and this request is due to bids coming in higher than expected. This will bring the total loan to $4,235,066. The term continues to be a 30-year loan with a 0.5% interest rate and was approved as a director level increase on July 31st pursuant to 200 KAR 17070, Section 8, Part 6. Next, the Northern Kentucky Water District's Fund F loan in the amount of $600,000 is for their Covington lead service line replacement project. The project will provide lead service line replacement in coordination with the Northern Kentucky Water District's water main replacement from West Pike Street to Bullock Avenue on West 12th Street in the city of Covington. This will be a 20-year loan with a 1.75% interest rate and was approved at the August 7th KIA board meeting. Next, 2 loans to the city of Lewisport, F25002, is the Fund F base loan in the amount of $14,017,000, and F25-002E is the Emerging Contaminants loan in the amount of $3,850,614. These 2 loans will combine to finance the Hancock County Regional Water Treatment Plant project. The project will construct a new 0.5 million gallon per day regional water treatment plant and 40,000 linear feet of transmission main. This new regional plant will replace 2 existing plants that are nearing the end of their useful lives. This will be a the base loan will be a 20-year loan with a 1.75% interest rate. The Emerging Contaminants loan will be a 100% principal forgiveness loan, and both of these loans were approved at the August 7th KIA board meeting. Back to Northern Kentucky Water District, their Fund F loan in the amount of $4 million is for the Taylor Mill Treatment Plant Powdered Activated Carbon System project. The project includes the construction of a powdered activated carbon storage and feed system to replace the temporary feed system, as well as the original non-functioning feed system. This will also allow for the replacement of the ultraviolet light disinfection system, which is at the end of its useful life. This 20-year loan will have a 2.75% interest rate and was approved at the August 7th KIA board meeting. We also have 7 cleaner water grants for the committee's review today. Appropriated under Senate Bill 36 of the 2021 session from round 1 of the Cleaner Water Program grants. We have 3 grant reallocations. There are 2 reallocations from the county allocation pool supporting sewer projects, and 1 reallocation from the supplemental pool supporting a water project. Appropriated under House Bill 1 from the 2022 session, There are 4 round 2 grants from the Cleaner Water Program. The first is a sewer grant reallocation from the county allocation pool, and 3 water grants from the county reallocation pool. And I believe the final project for approval today is from the city of Providence. They have an emergency Kentucky Waters grant in the amount of $880,000. The city of Providence water system suffered an emergency situation resulting in a catastrophic loss of pressure to the entire system. Both Webster County and the city of Providence did declare a state of emergency due to the system-wide loss of water pressure. An initial main break depressurized the entire system, and when that leak was repaired and the pressures began to rise, latent weaknesses in the distribution lines triggered additional failures, leaving every customer without service. This interconnect project will include 450 feet of PVC line that will tie Webster County Water District to the city of Providence and will provide an immediate auxiliary supply capable of stabilizing system pressure, enabling boil water advisories to be lifted faster, and allowing targeted repairs without full system shutdowns. And this was approved at a specially called board meeting on July 24th of this year. And that is, I believe, the last action item.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Senator Frommer.
Sandy, thanks for this. Interestingly, on a different conversation around Make America Healthy, a reporter asked me earlier today about the ability to grow vegetables safely if the water is under a boil advisement. This, I think, is what she might have been referring to, but forgive my ignorance. What part of the state is this boil advisory in?
This is in the city of Providence in Hancock County, up on the Ohio River.
Western Kentucky.
So Webster.
Webster.
Sandy, I thought Providence was in Webster County.
Webster County. It is.
I apologize. No.
It's Webster County.
I apologize. I misspoke. Webster
Now,
County.
still forgive me. Forgive me. Out of the 120 counties, which part of the state is Webster in Eastern Kentucky?
Western Kentucky.
Western.
Western Kentucky. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So we're being kind of pressed. She was asking me about Eastern, but we're talking about something different. When did this occur? I realize this is an emergency order, and if there was a boil advisory, how long has this been in effect?
So I do not remember the specific date that the incident occurred on. And typically boil water advisories are put into place for a specific amount of time associated with the event that they're tied to. And so again, I don't know how long this boil water advisory was in effect, but they're usually no longer than a week.
And I can recognize that issue would be it's a break that you certainly don't want to expect everything is good until you've tested it, got the pipe corrected, and you've confirmed it's good. It's interesting. Another question for you, Sandy. On the Fund B and the Fund F loan, with these loans that we would then be kind of acknowledging or approving, where do we compare the rate that is currently being charged and whether they'll be able to meet their debt obligation? Is the community already been informed of the needed rate increase, and has that already been granted or authorized regardless of what we agree upon today?
Certainly. So that's a great question. I am assuming that you're speaking about the loan to the city of Lewisport.
Right.
So Lewisport has done a first reading of their rate increase, and the second reading is to occur sometime in September.
So if they don't authorize it, then this project may not move forward effectively.
If the rate increase is not put into place, we believe that the city would not have sufficient revenue to repay the loan, and that is a standard condition in the conditional commitment letter. So when the board approves a KIA loan, we send to each borrower a conditional commitment letter. One of the conditions says the utility has to have sufficient revenue to repay the debt. So if they did not have sufficient revenue, then we would not give loan proceeds to them.
So you wouldn't clear the money, and this is really helpful. So one other question on that. As time goes on, if this community grows, they might increase their ratepayers, or if, goodness, they don't grow, they go the other direction. They lose ratepayers. Is your team monitoring that they have the sufficient flows to pay this indebtedness?
That's a great question, and we monitor each borrower. We receive annual financial statements from each borrower, and we do monitor the debt coverage capacity of each borrower every year.
That's helpful to know. Thank you.
Senator Maiden?
I was going to address the senator's question about boil water advisories and such. Most of those, I'm going to put my mayor hat on here for a little while, but most of those aren't usually because water is has poison. It's usually because the line's been broken and might have dirt in it, or the inside of the line will cause the water to get muddy, so they put the boil water advisory on. So your questions about would it be okay to water vegetables? I would not hesitate at all to water vegetables just because there was a boil water advisory on. Now, there's a boil water advisory because a tanker truck wrecks on the water line and there's possible oil or gas in the line. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that.
Does anybody else have any questions? So, a couple of things just to answer. So I think around July the 10th was somewhere in that neighborhood was when it happened in Providence. Is what that happened, and I think it's a good thing to tie those two systems together so that they can maintain and get themselves back up and running as soon as possible, because people depend on that water. And then going back to the question about the Lewisport, and then the further on, not really so much Lewisport as the question she had about where you're all monitoring the systems yearly. Once you monitor that and see that they may have fallen or trending to fall short, do you all have the authority to tell them and give them, I guess, some clarification or some or have them to readjust their fees?
That's a very good question. I am not an attorney, so I can't give you a legal opinion, but my understanding of the legal language that is in our assistance agreement does say that we do have the authority to have the system increase their rates if they are not able to make their debt payment. And I believe that would happen if the borrower was declared in default.
Okay, so they'd have to be in default before you could, but you could go back and because of the agreement they signed, require them to pay to increase their fees to be able to become solvent to pay their debt.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Going back to the other, I think maybe the second one or third one, where you said that you only had one bid, and you increased, I think, by $387,000. Was there only one bid? Maybe I just was thinking about that. Was there only one bid where the bid come in and there was an increase of $385,000? Lebanon, yeah, the city of Lebanon. Was there competitive bids? I guess is what I'm asking.
So we always prefer to have 3 bids. So that would be an ideal situation. If and I'm not certain about this particular project, but in general, I can tell you that from time to time, when projects are bid, depending on the location or the nature of the project itself, and the amount of work in general that is available. So right now there are a lot of water and wastewater projects that are ongoing from all of the increased funding that we have seen for these types of projects. And from time to time, there just aren't enough contractors to complete all of the work. And so we have seen, again, not on a regular basis, but occasionally, rarely to occasionally, we have seen and would approve a single bidder, especially if they've bid it more than once and continue to receive just a single bid.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. All right, does anybody else have any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to go. Motion made, do I hear a second to approve? Second and made, all right, Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Senator Girdler,
Let me explain my aye vote. Sandy, thank you for Cumberland County. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
He said aye.
I was waiting for an explanation. Okay, Senator Maiden,
I don't need an explanation, but yes.
Senator Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Petrie, Representative Stalker,
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Funky Fromeyer.
May I explain my yes vote?
Yes, go ahead.
Sandy, your detail is appreciated, and your ability to explain my detailed questions is appreciated.
Thank you
Aye.
so much.
Chair McPherson.
Yes. So it looks like we have approval, and Sandy, again, we appreciate you and continue on with the ones that require no action.
Thank you so much, sir. So this seems kind of anticlimactic after the robust discussion, but from House Bill 1 of the 2024 session, there is one line item sewer grant reallocation for the city of Corbin.
Okay. Do I hear any questions concerning that? If not, again, thank you for your testimony, and we'll try to be easier on you next month, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. No promises. All right. Kaylee Palmer is here in person, and it's item number 7, and there's 7 economic developments and grants requiring action. Do I hear a motion to roll those? Roll on. Do I hear a second? Second on. All right. So we do. So go ahead. Will you have it rolled?
Thank you. Kylie Palmer, Deputy Commissioner for the Cabinet for Economic Development, and I have 7 projects to present today. First, with the City of Richmond, on behalf of Richmond Industrial Development Corporation, they were approved by KEDFA for a $2 million KPDI grant. This is for land acquisition of 189 acres adjacent to their existing Richmond Industrial Park South 3. With the use of the existing road network and the utility infrastructure that's already in place, development will likely occur quickly, and the new property will be named Richmond Industrial Park South 4. The required local match participation for this project is 20%, and matching funds are provided by both the city and the local grant. Total potential investment for this project, $4,744,000. Next, we have Laurel County Fiscal Court on behalf of the London Laurel County Economic Development Authority, approved for a project with a potential investment of approximately $1.6 million. This is the second phase of their project, and this is to extend out the utilities on the site. The Economic Development Authority will provide the required 20% local match, and the project was approved by KEDFA for a $1,375,000 KPDI EDF grant. Next, we have Monroe County Fiscal Court. On behalf of the Monroe County Industrial Development Authority, was approved by KEDFA for a $40,307 KPDI EDF grant. This is to assist in the due diligence on a site on Highway 163 in Tompkinsville to determine suitable for a new industrial park. The required local match for this project is 15%, and matching funds are provided by a local grant. Total potential investment for this project, $47,421. Next, Muhlenberg County Fiscal Court, on behalf of the Paradise Park Regional Industrial Development Authority, was approved for a project with a potential investment of approximately $16.9 million. This project is seeking assistance for further development of the park with a 25-acre site and a spec building. This project is a regional project with support from Davis, Hopkins, McLean, Muhlenberg, and Ohio counties. Required local match for this project is 15% with a combination of a bank loan, local commitment, and local grant support. And the project was approved by KEDFA for a $4 million KPDI EDF grant. Next, we have Pendleton County Fiscal Court. On behalf of the Pendleton County Industrial Development Authority, they were approved by KEDFA for a $21,250 KPDI EDF grant. This is to assist with the due diligence work needed to complete the Pendleton County Commerce Park, and the required local match for this project is 15%. Matching funds are provided through a local grant, and the total potential project is $24,438. Next, we have Russell County Fiscal Court. On behalf of the Russell County Industrial Development Authority, approved for a project with a potential investment of $60,605. This project is also seeking assistance to complete a due diligence study at the Rexrot property in Russell Springs. If favorable, this will result in the expansion of the Lake Cumberland Regional Industrial Park. The county will participate in providing the required 15% local match, and the project was approved by KEDFA for $52,700 in KPDI EDF grant. Next, Scott County Fiscal Court, on behalf of the City of Georgetown, was approved by KEDFA for a $991,920 KPDI EDF grant to develop the remaining acreage at the Lane Run Business Park in Georgetown. This work will include infrastructure extension improvements as well as site prep. The required local match for this project is 20%, and matching funds are provided by a combination of local support with a total potential investment of $1,239,900. The 7 KPDI EDF grant projects presented today were identified by the Independent Site Selection Group as having a potential for a future investment or location of an economic development project. All projects were recommended by Secretary Noel, and we have a signed concurrence letter by Secretary Johnson, and these were all approved by KEDFA at the July 31st meeting and presented to state props and building commissions on August 21st.
Thank you. Do I have any questions? Senator Fromeyer.
Yes. Kylie, thank you.
Thank you.
For being here. And I represent Pendleton County. What I love about that is just the ability to explore. Thank you for the opportunity to explore. We're hopeful to come back for the Muhlenberg County $4 million.
Regional?
Yes.
Regional, yes.
But when we look at the pool of money, your team, Secretary Noel's team, has been diligent about looking throughout the entire state. How much is left in the pool of money that was originally established in, would that have been 26 budget cycle?
So there's 2 separate funds. There was the original, and it was retitled KPDI Program of 2022. They did 2 rounds, and that was $100 million. We're still doing reimbursements on those projects for round 2, so it's tough to say exactly how much is remaining, but they were approved. And then we are now talking KPDI Program of 2024. We have 2 rounds. We're in round 1, and that was $70 million total, $35 million per round. Okay. So I could. Do you need more to date on that round?
So approximately out of the $170 million that has been budgeted, yes, we've approved approximately how much?
So we have 35. let's talk current round first because I have those numbers right here. There was 81 million in request on the first round, and we took those requests of the 35 million that was recommended by the independent consultant. So we have not taken all those to KEDFA for approval, but we anticipate having the full 35 million committed and approved for that round. We are in round 2. They are submitting requests to the site selection group for those recommendations. Of round 1 and 2 of the 2022 program, I believe there was 12 million that was not allocated, but I can confirm those numbers and get back to you.
So the 12 million, and then we'll have the 2024 and the 20
Another
25. Okay, so about 82 million approximately.
I can get you the numbers from that. I do believe it was around 12 million on the first program, 2022. 2024, we are right in the midst of the first round. So we have recommendations that for the 35 million, and they are just now doing the request for information on round 2. So once, sorry.
And without all that,
Yeah.
knowing that I threw that at you, you didn't know the question was coming. If you're able to just share back with the committee, myself and Chair McPherson,
Yes,
we'll share it out with the rest of the committee.
we will do that.
It is helpful to know kind of where we are. Thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions? Again, I appreciate the 7 places that we're looking in the state, and I think those were spread pretty well across areas here. I did like the one in Providence there that had the regional pool of everyone. I'm originally from Monroe County, so I like the Monroe County one to see that. But again, just all of those give us hope that we're going to put out money and identify these and do a good job. You know, people say, you know, we've got a industrial park. Well, sometimes you just have a site, and until you identify this and get all the infrastructure there, you still just have a site. But we want these industrial parks to be available, and when a bigger area comes in, something in the Trans Park in Bowling Green or wherever it might be, then there's other feeder areas that come in and other opportunities, and they need to be done quickly. So we appreciate you getting these looked at and kind of pre-approved. So I appreciate it, and if there's no other questions, do we have to approve this? We do have to approve this, so I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right, motion made. Do I hear a second? Second and made. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Senator Girdler.
I'd like to explain my yes vote again. Single K, that used to be double K. Thank you for Russell County. And any money you have left, I'll give you the 5 counties that are mine and tell you that we need to divvy up that pretty good there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Maiden. Senator Thomas.
Aye.
Representative Petrie. Representative Stalker.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Funky Fromeyer.
Aye.
Chair McPherson.
Yes. So those are approved, and we thank you for your testimony and your time.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have Mr. Starkweather here in person, and he'll be presenting item number 7 and 7C and 7D, 4 new debt issues and 2 SFCC debt issues requiring action. So do I hear a motion to roll the ones that require action?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made. Do I hear a second? Hear a second by Representative Stalker. Okay, so go ahead, sir, and start your testimony. Introduce yourself and go forward.
Thank you. Steve Starkweather, Deputy Executive Director, Kentucky Office of Financial Management. The Kentucky Housing Corporation is seeking approval of multifamily conduit revenue bonds, Campbellview Apartments, Series 2025, for anticipated net proceeds of $9.2 million. The KHC inducement date was approved on October 31st, 2024, with an anticipated private placement sale date of September 15th, 2025. This is a conduit transaction, and the bonds are a liability of the developer and not of the corporation or the Commonwealth. You just want me to keep rolling, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The Kentucky Housing Corporation is seeking approval for an estimated $150 million of tax-exempt and taxable single-family mortgage revenue bonds, Series E and F, issued in one or more series. This is the second tranche of the $400 million authorization submitted to the committee in March of 2025. This will be a negotiated transaction with Bank of America serving as underwriter. The State Property and Buildings Commission is seeking approval for an amount not to exceed $1.2 billion of general fund backed state project number 133, Series A and B, authorized over multiple sessions of the General Assembly. The transaction was modeled for the submittal as $775 million of new money and $168,630,000 of refunding bonds. OFM and OSBD monitor capital spend and may adjust the amounts at pricing based on market conditions and capital needs. The preliminary net present value savings estimate from refunded bonds at the time of this submittal was $9.1 million, or roughly 4.9%. The State Property and Buildings Commission is seeking approval for an amount not to exceed $20 million for road fund backed State Prop Project 134, Series A and B, authorized in House Bill 2 of the 2012 extraordinary session. This transaction was modeled as $12.5 million of new money, and just as a side, we had submitted that as tax exempt, but just received confirmation from bond counsel that will be required to issue that as taxable. The remainder of that $6.285 million of refunding bonds has a preliminary net present value savings at the time of this submittal of $109,480, or roughly 1.6%. Continue on to the SFCC as well.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Two items from SFCC this month. Danville Independent, an estimated $7.48 million of general obligation bonds. The debt service is 5% SFCC funded. The project is 100% instructional, and no tax increase was required. Pike County, an estimated $820,000 of school building revenue bonds. The debt service is 100% SFCC funded. The project is 100% instructional, and no tax increase was required. Staff requested approval of the committee.
All right, do we hear any questions? Yes, Senator Thomas.
Mr. Starkweather, I very much appreciated that you began your presentation by highlighting our bond ratings across all the rating agencies at this point. So I think that information is very informative. And by all accounts, Kentucky's doing very well in its ratings, which certainly impact the cost of borrowing for the state. I take it you would agree with that.
Yes, the rating of the Commonwealth certainly does affect the ultimate capital cost.
Okay. Is it fair to say, because the Fed has been in the news a lot lately, that if there is a rate decrease, as many people are projecting over the next 2 weeks, that there will be additional savings that Kentucky will be able to take advantage of if there is a decline in interest rates?
It's kind of a loaded question.
Well, give me your best answer.
So, yes and no. Unfortunately, I have to balance that. Short-term rates is what the Fed looks at, right? The state borrows across 20-year cycles. So it's ebbs and flows, right? So your 20-year debt may increase up a little bit. We've seen multiple different yield curves over the last 10 years. I mean, from inverted to flat to upward sloping. So it really matters. So as you get closer to the ultimate date of the bonds being defeased, yes, you can achieve savings in that lower portion of the curve by compressing the maturities.
Yes, go ahead.
Is that an option that you think we should consider, given that any future interest rate declines is speculative at this point, or would you just say that we just take whatever advantage we have by any immediate decline in interest rates and just go from there?
There's multiple ways you can approach financing. The Commonwealth has traditionally used a 20-year level debt service profile. So what that does is it stacks on the debt service in each year as you move down the curve, with less debt service in the far out years and more debt service in the current years. We keep a solid eye on refunding potentials. We make sure that everything that is callable can be called. We're looking at taxable versus tax exempt across the whole spectrum. So I'm trying to answer your question without answering your question. I mean, it really depends.
Just do the best you can. Just do the best you can.
So you could manipulate different areas of the curve. But when you got to the ultimate time of paying that debt service, you would have higher debt service in these front years. Downward sloping debt service profile is something that is a hallmark of our credit. That is a credit positive for us to have that downward sloping debt profile.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Have further questions?
This is a history question.
Go ahead, Senator Mayton.
So 4 or 5 years ago when we had very little or no rainy day fund, and now since, we've got, $4 or $5 billion and looks like we're going to put another billion in this year, what effect, where were we 4 or 5 years ago compared to where we are now on our bond rating?
Our bond rating has increased over the last 4 or 5 years. That's for a multitude of reasons. Paying down the ARC fund of the pension for years, that was a first question out of a rating agency's mouth. What are you going to do to get your long-term liabilities in order? Several changes have been made to pension systems over the last, I remember back as far as 2013. So over the last 12 years, there's been a lot of changes. That's helped. Changes in the value that's assigned to the forward-looking discount rate for pensions. That's had an effect. The Budget Reserve Trust Fund being it has gone from times I remember we were counting paper clips at the state. It was really bad. And I remember Budget Reserve Trust Funds of zero, essentially. We received negative feedback from rating agencies as a result of that. I believe Chairman Hicks's presentation, the Budget Reserve Trust Fund was at $3.7 billion at the end of 2025. So, yes, it does have an impact.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions? So yeah, this the $3.7 billion the other day was reported, and about 24% of our budget, which I just do think helps a lot. And again, paying down pension, getting it stabilized to, it was a juggernaut. It was just, when you started, that was the first question, is how you going to pay your pension. And we've continued to pay to that and to continue to pay. And if you look at the ARC, it's still not where we want it to be, but it's getting there. It's getting better all the time, and we're getting closer to 60%. And once you get to 60, then you want 70, and then you want 80, and you know, we do have some pensions getting to 100% now, and we discussed that last year, you know, so I think that's a good thing going forward. Going back to the housing project, the multiple housing project there in Bowling Green, can you tell me, you know, so we had them come, I think a couple of months ago, they came before us, and it looked like, and this is something, I'm a real estate appraiser by trade, so, you know, we were looking at about 297,000 per unit, just a rough number. This number here looks to be about 323 and change per unit. I mean, we're going up, we're building the same, and I'll be honest, I'm building houses right now, and OSB board's actually coming down. There's a few things, labor will probably never come back down, but there's a few materials and things that are stabilizing, and because of the market not being as aggressive because of the interest rates we've had, we've got some lumber prices and a few things going down. Why are we seeing this big increase, I guess, in this market of apartments?
If you please, I brought some friends from KHC that might be able to answer that question.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Anybody that wants to testify, I would like for you to identify yourself and then tell us what you might have to say about this subject.
Good afternoon, Representative McPherson. This is Wendy Smith with Kentucky Housing Corporation. I'm the Deputy Executive Director over Housing Programs and have met you at some of the Housing Task Force meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
I also have with me our Managing Director over our multifamily programs, Terry Helton, and then Louis Diaz from Dinsmore is with us as well. Louis, I saw you take yourself off mute. Was there something that you would like to say?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I thought I could address the question immediately in that the cost per unit for this particular project, and I apologize for the background noise. I am at the Cincinnati or CVG airport where I serve as a board member. But in any case, the number that you're looking for, sir, is $261,865 is the per unit project cost. Within the report that we provide to the committee, that report evolves over time based on needs of committee members. And so, for example, at the beginning of the report, you'll see where we provide information about when the public hearing was held, and that was something that Representative Wayne out of Louisville asked for maybe about 15 years ago, and so we started to insert that information. At one point, a representative asked that we provide all of the sources that were going to be utilized for the project because they want to identify whether this particular representative was involved in the municipal industry. He worked for an underwriter, and he wanted to identify any conflicts with the sources. And so what we have done in our practice has been to provide all of the project sources that are involved in the financing. And so, for example, in this project, if you look at the bond amount, which is slightly north of $9.2 million, at conversion, when the project is complete, receives a certificate of occupancy, that bond amount will be paid down likely by the tax credit equity. So the permanent debt load will end up being a number that's substantially lower than $9.2 million. Nonetheless, in the description of the total project cost, we provide every single source and the max amount of money that might be used. But if you're taking that total number and dividing by the number of units, you're going to get an inflated number. The actual number based on the full projections of the project, which are on file with the Kentucky Housing Corporation, is $261,865. I'll also share, and KHC can probably elaborate on this more, the corporation does have cost containment guidelines for projects, and they have subsidy limitations with respect to the tax credits to keep project developers in line with costs. And I know that the Housing Corporation also surveys surrounding states to make sure that we are competitive with those states in both ways, both in making sure that we're not providing too much subsidy in a particular state, but also keeping in mind that we're competing for capital with our surrounding states, and we want developers to come to the state and engage in these transactions, both in-state and out-of-state developers. And so we have to make sure that we're also not starving the project such that capital flight, the investors at tax credits that are looking at underwriting the deals would prefer to invest in a neighboring state because the underwriting is that much more favorable. Now, I will admit, and I think this is something that anyone would be hard pressed to move away from. There is a cost to regulatory oversight, and these projects, in many cases, are regulated by the Housing Corporation, by HUD, by the Internal Revenue Service, and so they're complicated transactions. So if I were developing a unit with private dollars, and I put the cost per development of that private unit next to the cost of development of an affordable unit, there would be a difference, and the affordable unit would cost a little bit more than the private unit. In many cases, these projects will also have prevailing wage requirements. In the federal speak, that's Davis-Bacon, which can also increase the price of construction versus a private development. So there's some factors that will cause there to be a difference between a market rate development and an affordable development. But certainly the gap is not as big as what you identified. And I can understand how you got to the 300,000 number. And if it helps the committee, we would be happy to include the per project or per unit cost of a project on a go forward basis if that helps alleviate concerns with respect to per unit costs.
And Louis, would you attribute the difference in the amounts in part to the fact that we may be counting construction financing and permanent financing in the total submitted to the committee?
Absolutely. So that's when I was talking about the $9.2 million, that is both construction and permanent financing. And so when
it's counted twice, effectively.
That's right. That's right.
So I would say that yes, I would like any of the data that could be provided to this committee going forward would be good. I know that have some probably future projects coming on that were because of the tornadoes, because of housing issues that we have across the state, that we're going to have more housing projects, and we're going to have these, and so a boiled down per unit cost would be good to know. Would be good to know, to be able to. And I do understand that as a real estate appraiser and somebody that monitors the market all the time, if you have favorable financing, if you have different things into these sales or into these projects, then you probably don't use them as comparables going forward in the private market. But there is still a big difference in the private market and the cost of putting these. And I would just implore that you. And I understand your explanation of saying that you want to be able to compete with other states, but truthfully, these are taxpayer dollars, and we need to spend them as efficiently as possible. Because I look at saying, if you've got $9.2 million, how many units can we get? Because we are in need of as many units as we can build. We've probably got somebody to be able to need to live in those. So I'm looking at more of, can we build 600 units, or can we build 800 units or 1,200 units with this same money? So that's a lot my reasoning for looking at the price per unit. So that's just my kind of 2 cents of that. And does anybody else have any questions or concerns? Go ahead, Senator Fromeyer.
Yes, and I really appreciate you being on, Louis. It's nice to understand a little bit more of the explanation. When we look at the fees paid, it is one factor that I don't have full understanding of, where all the costs are involved in the financing aspect as well. So can you break down the fees that total $301,763?
In the exhibit B to the new bond issue report, there should be a breakout that itemizes the what we would refer to as the cost of issuance, and that will provide both the fees of bond counsel, the fees of hosting a TEFRA hearing. The corporation has a series of fees, and we include in there also the fees associated with the tax credit that is generating the private equity for the transaction. So we pull that straight from the underwriting model that the developer prepares and submits to the corporation.
I will add to Lewis's comments that KHC does charge a series of fees. This is in part to cover our costs for bond counsel and hearings and all that kind of stuff. In addition, Kentucky Housing Corporation does not receive any operating support from the general budget of the state. We are a self-supporting quasi. So we have got to be able to cover our inspection fees, underwriting, our attorneys and bond counsel fees via, the financing of each project.
And that, Wendy, has been true since almost inception. There was initial capital that was provided to start the corporation, which the corporation paid back in the early 80s. But it has been a self-sufficient, self-operating organization since it was created following the May Street Kid Act.
Does any other member have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. So, Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Senator Girdler. Senator Maiden. Senator Thomas. Representative Pedri. Representative Stalker.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Co-Chair Funky Fromeyer.
Yes.
Chair McPherson.
Yes. So again, everything that we rolled did pass, and so we thank you for your time. Do you have any? All right, that's what we needed. So our next meeting will be Senator Fromeyer will be chairing, and it'll be September the 23rd. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you.